Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Imagine this, you wake up one morning, grab your phone and nothing. It's dead. You try to charge it, but it won't turn on. You look outside and the streetlights are off. The internet is gone. Your TV, your computer, your game console, all silent. This isn't the beginning of a zombie movie. It's what could happen during a massive solar storm. Sounds scary, right? But don't worry, today we're going to break down what solar storms are and, more importantly, how we can prepare for them. It's not about panic, it's about being smart. So, what exactly is a solar storm? Think of our sun, that giant ball of fiery gas 93 million miles away. It's not just sitting there looking pretty, it's incredibly active, constantly bubbling and churning. Sometimes it has these huge, violent explosions called solar flares, or coronal mass ejections, or CMEs for short. When this happens, the sun basically burps out a massive cloud of superhot gas and energetic particles. This cloud travels through space at incredible speeds, and if Earth happens to be in its path, that's when we get a solar storm. Now, most of the time, these storms are no big deal. Our planet has a natural shield called the magnetosphere, which is like a giant magnetic force field. It deflects most of these solar particles, and the only effect we might see is the beautiful aurora, the northern and southern lights. That's actually solar wind interacting with our atmosphere. Pretty cool, right? But what if a really, really big one hits us head on? That's when we could have a problem. The last major event like this was the Carrington Event back in 1859. Back then, the most advanced technology was the telegraph system. When the storm hit, telegraph lines sparked, operators got electric shocks, and some telegraph offices even caught fire. People saw auroras as far south as Cuba. Now, imagine that same energy hitting our modern world. Our entire civilization runs on electricity. Our power grids, communication satellites, GPS, and the internet are all vulnerable. A powerful solar storm could overload these systems, causing widespread and long-lasting blackouts. We're talking potentially weeks, months, or even years in the worst-case scenario. Think about what that means. No electricity means no refrigerators, so food spoils, no clean water pumped to our homes, no gas pumps, no ATMs, no credit card machines. Hospitals would have to rely on backup generators, but for how long? Our digital lives, our economy, our basic infrastructure, it all depends on a fragile web of electronics. A major solar storm could send us back to the 19th century, but without the skills our great-great-grandparents had to survive. It's a sobering thought, but this isn't about fear. It's about understanding the risk so we can be prepared. So what can we, as individuals and families, do? It's not about building a doomsday bunker. It's about practical, common-sense preparedness, a lot like how you'd prepare for a hurricane or an earthquake. The first step is to have an emergency kit. This is something every household should have anyway. Your kit should include enough non-perishable food and water for at least 3 days per person, but aiming for a week or two is even better. Think canned goods, dried fruit, protein bars, things that don't need cooking or refrigeration. And don't forget a manual can opener. Next up, a first aid kit is essential. You should also have any prescription medications you need, enough to last for a while. Have a battery-powered or hand-crank radio. In a grid-down situation, communication will be key, and emergency broadcasts might be the only way to get reliable information. Flashlights and extra batteries are a must. Candles are an option too, but be super careful with fire safety. A supply of cash is also a good idea because, without power, electronic payments are useless. Let's talk about protecting your personal electronics. This is where a Faraday cage comes in. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it's actually a simple concept. It's a container that blocks electromagnetic fields. You can buy them, but you can also make a simple one yourself. A metal trash can with a tight-fitting lid works well. Just line the inside with cardboard or foam so your devices don't touch the metal. You can store things like a spare laptop, a small solar charger, a portable radio, and a hard drive with important documents and family photos inside. During a solar storm warning, you'd place your essential devices in the cage for protection. But individual preparation is only one part of the solution. The bigger picture involves our governments and power companies. Scientists are getting much better at monitoring the sun and predicting solar weather. Hardening our infrastructure is the long-term goal. This means designing new transformers that are more resilient to geomagnetic currents, installing surge protectors, and creating smarter grids that can better isolate and manage power fluctuations. It's a huge and expensive undertaking, but it's absolutely necessary if we want to protect our way of life. The good news is that these conversations are happening, and progress is being made. So let's recap the key takeaways. Solar storms are a natural phenomenon. A big one could seriously disrupt our lives by taking down the power grid. But you don't need to be afraid. You need to be prepared. Start by building a basic emergency kit with food, water, and first aid supplies. Think about communication with a hand crank radio. Consider a simple Faraday cage for your most critical electronics. And stay informed. Pay attention to the news and know what to do if a solar storm warning is issued. Preparing for a solar storm is really about building resilience. It's about having the basic supplies and knowledge to take care of yourself and your family for a while without modern conveniences. These are skills and supplies that are useful in any emergency, not just a solar storm. It's about being a responsible citizen. Check on your neighbors, especially the elderly or vulnerable. Community is our greatest strength in any crisis. We're all in this together. So, while the idea of a world without power is daunting, it's a manageable risk. By understanding the threat and taking simple, practical steps to prepare, we can face the future with confidence instead of fear. It's all about being proactive, not reactive. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope this cleared things up and gave you some useful tips. What are your thoughts on this? Do you have an emergency kit ready? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Stay safe, stay prepared, and we'll see you in the next one.